thewellnesscouch.com, streaming wellness into your lives.
Welcome to 100 Not Out, featuring your hosts Dr. Damien Christoph and Marcus Pearce.
Hello and welcome to 100 Not Out, a weekly show dedicated to helping you master the art of aging well. My name is Marcus Pearce and we have a very special guest in the studio, but before we go to the lovely Steph Reiter, it is the most photogenic man in the world, Dr. Damien Christoph. How are you, pal?
I was wondering where you're going to go today.
Well, you are one of the most photogenic men.
No, that's not true. But you know what I love is that you're back with, when we've got guests in the room, you're back giving me titles. And I'm really happy about that. So thank you for that, because you did drop it for a little while.
Once. For everyone that's been watching or listening, it was one day. And now it was because we had two guests.
Whatever. Anyway, so it's great. So good to be back.
The sensitive rock star over here. But the sensitive rock star is actually responsible for us getting to know our very special guest today. Steph Reiter is the founder of Total Capture Photography. But if you're a Wellness Couch fan, you would have seen Steph in action at our Wellness Summit. We're about to go to the Wellness Breakthrough, and Steph's going to be covering the Wellness Breakthrough. And very excitedly, somewhat selfishly for us, we get to spend 10 days with Steph and her mum Pam in Ikaria, in the Greek Islands, capturing what is going to be a magnificent trip. Steph Reiter, thank you so much for joining us at 100 Not Out.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Steph, Marcus, it's so good. Now, it's interesting because you might have heard Marcus use the word capture, and that's what this is all about. Quite often we walk around with a phone or with a instant camera of some kind, and we're snapping away. We're not really capturing the moment, we're actually just taking photos. There's a really big difference between capturing the moment and taking photos, and that's what we're talking today about, isn't it, mate?
Yeah, I called you the other day and I said, Damo, we should talk to Steph because I looked at my camera roll. I've got like thousands of photos in my camera roll. And go back 20 or 30 years ago, there's probably hundreds of photos in there that are great, but because there's thousands in there, not one of them gets on the mantelpiece.
Yeah.
And so we've got quantity, but almost like no quality. And I thought, let's talk to you, Steph, because this, I'm sure you experience every day when you take a quality photo, what impact that has on people's lives.
Absolutely. I mean, the fact that we do have access to unlimited photos at our fingertips with our phones these days. We can take photos of anything, and I think everybody is taking such a high quantity of photos that you've lost the quality element that comes with hiring a professional to capture families, capture moments, capture life, because that's what's important. And it's the quality photography, the quality photos that's going to make it onto the mantelpiece. It's going to become family heirlooms. It's not only about a quality photograph, but it's about what's inside that photo as well. So what story does it tell? I'm all about capturing life, telling stories, getting to know my clients, and really just creating beautiful, beautiful photos that will go into be family heirlooms, and that's what's important.
Do you remember, like, your grandma or your grandpa?
It's amazing. That's exactly where I was going with this.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Go read my mind. I want to hear this.
Right,
I love this.
I bet you. Hang on. Yeah. All right. So last week when Steph turned up early, a week early for the interview, right? We chatted for a little bit, and I said that at the front door of my house, as I grew up, there used to be this one photo of my whole family, but like the great grandparents and the grandparents, and they were all there, and there was the grandmother was sitting in the middle, or the grandfather was in the middle sitting, and the grandmother was upstanding, and so there was one photo taken, but it told you the story of the whole family. And then people go, that's your great grandmother, and there's your great grandfather, and he was a policeman, and he was at Myrtleford, and they tell you the story about it. But these days you kind of go, oh, awesome, it's so good, But there's this one photo that told the whole story. We spoke about that, this one photo. And when I go to my Nana and Papa's house, there's a photo of me when I was maybe 15 or 16 years old, and that's the photo that my Nana and Papa used to tell the story about who's Damien. But it's different.
And like you say, they've had it there for years.
Ever.
Doesn't have to be updated every 3 months or 6 months. It's an heirloom in itself.
Yeah.
But it would have been a big deal back then to have a photographer come over.
Yeah.
Everyone gets
stick their head in a box.
Yeah, but like back in the days, cameras were massive things that are standing on the ground and all the rest of it. But that the magic of that moment captured forever.
Yeah.
What is it going to take for humanity to recognise that iPhones are great and taking photos is fabulous.
Blackberries are better.
No.
But what's it going to take for us to put the quality back into, I suppose, our visual life? Because we are now addicted to quantity.
Well, the other key point is that photography is a powerful tool to evoke emotion and memory. So it's not just in the people that will look at the photograph generations on, like you were saying, but it's also the people that are in there. They can look back at that photograph. It takes them back to that time in their lives, back to what they're feeling. You know, whether they were captured after, say, a wellness journey or something like that, or with a loved one that's no longer with us. You know, that's what's powerful about making sure that we capture those memories. In terms of hiring a professional, obviously you're going to get quality there, and it's about telling the story. So you need to really just have a good storyteller and someone that's really just going to get a natural and authentic portrait that's going to resonate with you. Because if you don't like the photo, you're not going to put it up, you're not going to pass it down.
So true.
So that's what comes with having quality.
So true. Steph told me a story the other day of a lady who had life injected into her after seeing the photos of her and her family. And, you know, one of her wishes was to have a family portrait before she passed on. But as a result of this photo, it seems that she's got all this energy and extra life and a purpose for living.
I think you just gave away my whole
Really?
story.
Is it good?
Well, it's
Tell
just,
the story.
but the story that Steph told me was so moving. It was incredible. So I'd love to hear how all that came about, Steph. I think that'd be
Absolutely,
really
yeah.
awesome.
And to this day, it's one of the most powerful shoots that I've ever done. I've been doing family photography and portraits for nearly 10 years now, and this happened only a couple of months ago. So I was contacted by a hospital, and they had a patient in palliative care, and they said to me, this patient, she's only got 2 weeks to live. And we went to her bedside and I asked her, if you could have anything in the world, what would it be? And she said that she would love a family portrait, and that's with her husband and her kids. And it's something that she's never been fortunate enough to experience, because professional photography is a luxury, and I get that. And so we made her wish come true. So 2 days later, I got one of my makeup artists to come to the studio. We just created this beautiful, beautiful set of images for her and her family. We made it a celebration about life, you know, because she's a beautiful spiritual person, and it's just all about having fun and vibrance, and she was at peace with what was happening to her. So we made the photo shoot just really vibrant, really, really fun, and we just had an absolute ball. Lots of laughter, lots of tears, of course. And then after I did some beautiful portraits of her and her kids, I took her aside with her and her husband and did some really intimate, beautiful black and white couple shots. Because that's what I do when I've got everyone there. I use all the elements of the story to create this beautiful set of images for her. About a week later, she came to my studio to pick up the photos, and I was quite surprised to see her.
The lady that was only really given 2 weeks to live.
Yeah, I was really surprised. So I got the photos ready as soon as possible and gave her husband a call, and I was quite surprised. And she came to the studio just in absolute tears, massive bouquet of flowers, and I got to present this beautiful set of printed images and digital images to her that told the story about her and her family, and they are instant heirlooms, you know, for her children. And I must say, the beautiful thing about this story is that she came to my studio looking about 10 years younger. She explained to me, and her husband explained to me, that at that photo shoot was a turning point for her. She had so much fun and enjoyment for life. From that day on, she was determined to get out of palliative care and off oxygen. And she had gotten out of palliative care, still on oxygen, but getting through it. And to this day I'm friends with her on Facebook, and she's going strong,
Still
and it's
going.
really beautiful. So beautiful.
It's remarkable, isn't it?
How's
Like,
that?
that's what I think
A
a lot
life
of
injection.
It is, absolutely, and it
Of fun.
creates
Yeah.
like the experience that this family had with you, this lady in particular, gave her a will to live that she may have been wanting but didn't know existed until that experience. And again, I don't think we can create that experience out of an iPhone.
No.
I just don't think
Exactly,
we can do it.
and that's what I love to do with my clients. Is it's all about having a fun, relaxed atmosphere, and really just telling a story of who they are, and that's how you're going to get the most natural and authentic portraits. So
Well, that's kind of why we got so excited about the concept of having Ikaria photographed because it's great. I mean, my family's not going to be there. I want to be able to bring the memories of that trip back home, not just to Sarah and the kids, but my mum, my dad, and everyone else around.
Me too. Amber won't be there.
Yeah, just to share that experience. And words is one thing, but as you said, the power of something visual is another. But this kind of ties into your own journey. I mean, you've been listening to the Wellness Couch for some time, and from what I understand, you decided that you really wanted to bring this personal growth, health and wellness focus into your own
photography.
photography.
Absolutely, yeah.
So again, it's been a beautiful kind of synchronicity that we've had you at a wellness summit. You'll be at the Wellness Breakthrough. You've been at Ikaria. But talk about just some of the fulfillment, because Damien and I know snippets of it from listeners or people that have attended a summit that have experienced your work. But can you give us an insight? Probably as much from a self-esteem perspective, because self-esteem is a massive thing for people with their health.
Oh, totally.
What do you notice in terms of that transformation that people experience when they begin to have themselves photographed in such an intimate manner?
Well, I know that I'm all about giving people self-esteem. So I'm about capturing raw emotion, but showing people how beautiful they really are. So I work with a team of photographers, stylists, and hair and makeup artists, and we all share my passion for health and wellness. And
Shout out. Lainey, Jade.
Everyone, all the Total Capture crew.
Well done, everybody.
So you've thrown me off track now. What was I saying?
Just, getting the whole crew together and
exactly, and it's all about a pampering experience and a self-esteem boost, and really just showing people their true beauty and capturing raw emotion. So I think at the end of the day, I photograph a lot of families, but I also photograph a lot of individual females and people where they've gone through a tough time, or if they're just needing a self-esteem boost or just a treat for themselves. You don't need a reason to get your portraits taken. It's a beautiful thing to do.
Lawrence Tam never has a reason, does he? Like, he's always there. Here at the moment, he'll be there all the time. Blue t-shirt and everything.
He loves it. He loves it.
We love it.
You're going.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's amazing when people leave the studio, their heads held higher. It's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, you see that. Absolutely, you see that. And I've noticed that you create that too. And
you have to, yeah.
Well, in speaking to some of the people that you've photographed, and knowing how they feel during and after, and even in comparison to before, the way they felt before the photographs, it's worlds apart. It's an amazing experience for people to feel a little bit famous, or to feel a little bit special, or to feel photogenic, and when they see what they look like on paper, it sometimes is totally different to what their mind imprint is of how they actually look.
Are you talking about your own experience when I photographed your family recently with Amber?
No, not necessarily, but I definitely know that when we got those photos back and we looked at them on the television, they looked amazing, but when you gave them to us on paper, like on the photo paper, it was totally different again. Like, it was this beautiful piece of life that just kind of jumped from the paper, and Amber's gone, oh my gosh, I love that photo. And then our family said, oh my gosh, that's a beautiful photo, I love that photo. And we're giving these photos away to people because they just loved it to bits, and I love it as well. And I was thinking, as you were talking before, I've got to get my favorite one and take it to my office Vita and have it there, because it's something I want to look at every day. So,
yeah, absolutely. Ikaria. Now, it's halfway, what is it? It's in Europe, so it takes a day to get there.
Yes.
You're going to have to take some time out from work and the rest of it.
Well, I am taking a few weeks off before the longevity retreat just to travel the Greek islands, because I can.
Okay.
As you do.
Because you can. Oh, I love
I'll
that.
give myself the
That's good.
time off, it's fine.
As you do.
Yeah.
But on a personal level, as a photographer, what do you specifically look forward to either learning or experiencing when you go into a unique lifestyle setting?
Well, I love documenting life as it happens. That's what I do every day. That's my passion. So to be fortunate enough to come to the Greek islands with you both, and you're there to explore the way of life, to see why people live and age well there more than anywhere else in the world. And I'm there to document that. So getting to know the locals, documenting their way of life, again, just really creating this set of powerful images that's showing their point of difference to the way everyone lives everywhere else, in the world. And not only that, creating some beautiful memories for the lucky attendees that are coming as well. But it's about storytelling, and that's what's beautiful about what I do.
Your transition, we spoke about it earlier, just your transition from I don't know how to call it, like mainstream photography and the rest, but at some point you had to make this move where you were going to focus primarily on that health and wellness, creating, not that you weren't creating magical experiences for people beforehand, but on that life purpose front, we talk about it a lot on the podcast. It takes a lot of guts and courage to really truly live your life purpose. Can you just give our listeners and viewers just an insight as to any big decisions you had to make, or more how you overcome any feelings? Because I think a lot of people really find a lot of value in working out that it does take some big decisions, or it does take a fair level of self-belief to take some steps. Do you want to just describe some of that for our listeners?
Absolutely. I come from a family of doctors, and almost everyone except me sort of works in the healthcare industry in my family. And so I've got a real passion for nutrition. I'd probably be a nutritionist if I wasn't a photographer. It's my love. Apart from photography, I can't get enough of health and wellness, which is why I was a huge fan of the Wellness Guys right from the start. And when I met Damien a few years ago, you know, we were chatting after one of his events, saying, you know, he was saying there must be a way to combine the two together. There's got to be a way to combine health and wellness with photography. Yeah. And then it dawned on us a couple of years later, you know, I was saying, well, the way I can do that is doing the photography for your network, for your events, for basically just combining the two together. And that's sort of come at a beautiful, beautiful time when I've decided not to compromise the health of my clients when we're creating beautiful portraits. So it comes down to the quality of products that we use if they're getting their hair and makeup done, the food that we serve during the photo shoot.
Organic wine,
organic
best
wine,
organic wine.
Just everything's special.
I think Jackson demolished that platter so
nailed
quickly.
it. It's like just like hoovered the
all
whole
his
lot.
health food.
I thought you was going to say Jackson demolished the wine. I was like, hey, I didn't know about that.
He had a daytime shoot. It was fine.
He got a sneaky bottle.
So I've reached this huge turning point. There was a little bit of conflict going. I can't leave my photography career to go and study nutrition, which was the easy way.
That would have been a compromise.
Exactly, and that was the easy way that you know, Damien and Cindy were sort of suggesting a few years back, and I'm glad that I found another way to merge the two together, and that's why I've built a team that share my same philosophy and share the core beliefs and core values of people in my wellness network that I love to photograph. So whether it's their personal branding photo shoot for, say, a naturopath or nutritionist, or it's their family photography, I just love my health and wellness clients, and I love sort of creating the two together because I could talk about that all day.
It's beautiful.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it is good. It's interesting because Steph mentioned before that an easy way would be to leave it and then to go and study to be a nutritionist and then to come into health and wellness and do what everyone else is doing in health and wellness, you know, which is nutrition. You know, and there's so many people that are confusing the heck out of everybody talking about nutrition. We just don't need another one to go and do the same thing. So the tough decision was to continue to do what Steph was already doing, but to refine it, just to shift it, to maybe do something different, like what we just found out from Billy. Billy said, do something different, do something that you know that you can achieve, and that's exactly what Steph did. She reinvented something that was already existing and then created a whole new marketplace. And I think that's a great achievement, and you know, well done, Steph, for just recreating yourself. And for stretching yourself a little bit, because through stretching, it appears that you actually get more life in your body.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, this journey that it's taken me on in about a year since I've decided to really create that niche market and deliver to a niche market itself, led on beautiful opportunities like doing the Wellness Summit, going to Greece. I mean, that was a dream when Marcus suggested it to me back in June last year. I was like, that'd be great, but yeah, right. And it's happened, and I think that's just a really, really lucky thing.
Oh, it's such an incredible, as Damien said, incredible effort, and an incredible level of, I just love the courage of people living their life purpose, because there's so many people out there that they would really say to you, I wish I could do what you do, and we all want to say you can do it. But we also love the fact that you truly do live it so consciously. So thank you so much, Steph, for joining us on 100 Not Out.
Absolutely, and that, sorry, can I just add in one more point?
Yes.
That just brings me back, like I've had Total Capture almost 10 years now, so when I started it, my friends were all studying for whatever they wanted to be doing, and from day one, I've been taking portraits of people, and I know that was been my passion. So I wake up every day for the last 10 years absolutely enthused about what I do and so happy and everything like that. I remember talking to my friends about 10 years ago, and they're like, you're so lucky, you wake up and you love what you do. And I'm like, well, why would you live life any other way? That's just always been my motto. So
and some people, and that's the thing, some people think there's only one option is to do what you love, and the other people think there's only one other option, and it's just to do what pays the bills or the rest. So yeah, it's an incredible effort.
You have to be passionate about it. You have to.
Absolutely. For more information on what the incredible Steph Reiter does, go to totalcapture.com.au. Damo, thank you for your wisdom, as always, on this podcast.
So great. Thanks, Marcus.
There are many ways to engage with us. Go to youtube.com and search for 100 Not Out There. You can check us out at thewellnesscouch.com and view the entire range of wellness podcasts available, including the number one show, The Wellness Guys. To find out more about Damo, go to damianchristoph.com, and for myself, marcuspierce.com.au. Until next week, folks, as always, continue to make the rest of your life the best of your life.
This has been a production of TheWellnessCouch.com. Check us out on Facebook and join in the conversation on Facebook.com/TheWellnessCouch. Subscribe to each show on iTunes and check us out on Twitter. The Wellness Couch, streaming wellness into your lives. Whilst the Wellness Couch presenter endeavor to provide accurate and helpful information to their listeners, these podcasts cannot take into account individual circumstances and are not intended to be a substitute for health and medical advice from a qualified health professional. You should always seek the advice of a qualified health professional before acting on any of the information provided by any of the Wellness Couch podcasts.